Oh, hey everybody. This is Dan at Dan's Retirement Journey. No longer Philippines bound. Oh, I could see I got some lighting issues. We're going to have to go with what we know. All right, let me see if I can move this green around a little bit to get a little bit more light. Looks like that helps improve it. Looks like this side of my face is a dark shadow. That's kind of what it looks like. Okay, so today is what is it in the Philippines? I guess today is Tuesday, August 16th in the Philippines, and so what would it be? Monday night in the West Coast, in the left coast of the United States, I believe. And this is Dan's Retirement Journey. And so today's topic is the Philippines God's waiting room for expats. And so this is just going to be a short, opinionated piece of me talking a little bit about what I discovered about expats moving around the world and in the Philippines. Oh, you can hear the toilet flushing from here, hun. Yeah. we're in the we're in the hotel in downtown Cebu. We made it to Cebu. Now I know I'm falling a little bit behind in posting the videos, and that's because I'm starting to dislike editing a lot. There's been a lot of discussion going on as to whether we want to make change the format to this to live stream because it's easier to do, and you don't have to worry about editing, so much. But anyway, so coming up on the video side, since I did bring it up, is going to be uh, I think Chiang Mai is coming up next. So Chiang Mai was a wonderful place, but I think that I think that showing video and then discussing each individual ancient temple in the ancient city, um, is important. But I think that a lot of people are doing that. So I'm going to be, as usual, I'm most likely going to show you the things that we saw when we were there. I'm going to share those videos with you, but I probably won't do a lot of descriptive talk about what it was like visiting those temples in Chiang Mai. Tim, hey, how's it going, Tim? Hey, I just want to thank you both for meeting me for breakfast, and we had some interesting discussion. And also want to thank you for loaning me your driver for a couple hours on the day that we were trying to arrange our departure from Clark over to Cebu. And by the way, we did manage to get a flight out on Philippine Airline, a direct flight from Clark to Cebu. But it was, as you might guess, it was a little bit pricey. And also, yeah, it was a little bit pricey, and it was on one of those turboprop jets that they have, the Canadian-made jet that I think Bombardier owns it now. I can't remember. De Havilland, is that what it's called? And we hit some turbulence. One of the reasons why Minnie and I are still in the hotel is because we started to get a little bit dizzy, and I was telling her that could be the result of the turbulence episode that we had on that de Havilland coming into Cebu. So I would say about maybe within 15 minutes of takeoff on that de Havilland turboprop. I'm not sure I'm saying it right. I'm not into avionics very much, but anyway, or aviation. Well, as a hobbyist, I like aviation. We probably hit turbulence. We probably hit a microburst at about 15 minutes after takeoff from Clark. The weather wasn't that great, but it wasn't that bad either. And we probably dropped. My estimation is the first volley or the first episode was about a 50-foot drop in a second. So we probably got hit by a microburst, and then all of a sudden, when people are getting just starting to get used to the idea that we just dropped, we probably dropped a couple of 100 feet, and then the pilot started to move his position. So if you know listen, there were a lot of Hail Marys being said on that flight. And so Minnie and I think we have residual dizziness. We're up 9 floors in this hotel. I think Minnie and I, we have some kind of residual, some leftover stuff from that episode. I was telling her that, you know, trying to get your sea legs back, if you will, after a flight like that, it takes some time. And so I suggest to her the dizziness and the nausea and stuff like that we're feeling could be a result of that episode, you know. Hey, Filipino Raquel. Okay, so I'm sorry we didn't get a chance to meet. I wanted to very, very badly. And also uh, Daisy Lynn. And so now I know that the way to meet you the next time we're in Manila is we got to come down from Manila the other way to where you live, and also we would visit with you first, and then Daisy Lynn. And then we'd swing around and visit our relatives in San Fernando, Pampanga. So we realized that we went the wrong way coming into Pampanga. We should have gone the other way, and that was poor planning on my part, and I truly apologize for that. I wanted to see you so badly and give you a great big hug and a kiss on the cheek if that's allowed. But the problem with it is I made a mistake on how we came into San Fernando. You know, we came in the other way instead of coming in from your side and then swinging around to see Daisy Lynn. I thought if we were going back to Manila, it would have been slam dunk. We would have visited our relatives in Pampanga, San Fernando. Lovely people, really, really beautiful people. And then we would have swung around and met with Daisy Lynn, and then with you, and then we would have flown out of Manila. But as it turns out, we ended up flying out of, as I was just saying, out of Clarkfield on Philippine Airline, affiliate airline, which was an experience. Thank you so much, Filipina Raquel. Oh, by the way, guys, I checked watch hours this morning before live here, and we're at 3832. 3832 was the number, 4.2 in lifetime, 3832 in order to get monetized is where we are right now. Oh, you're here eating lunch. What are you having for lunch? Yeah, we just finished breakfast a couple hours ago, and like I said, we were feeling a little bit dizzy, and so both of us. And so I'm saying, man, it's not a coinkydink or coincidence that we're both feeling a little bit dizzy after that episode, I don't think. Pinky Gray is here, but we did get a chance to meet with your daughter, Pinky Gray. And so, did I say that right? Your daughter? Listen, this is the most fun that I've had in a long time. I truly appreciated Pinky Gray. Pinky Gray came a long way to meet us from Isabella, you know, and so that was a long, but I guess she took the bus, you know, take the bus, leave the driving to us. And I would imagine Pinky got some sleep on that journey, but I really appreciated Pinky for taking the time out of her schedule, you know, to come down to Manila to see us. We really appreciate that. Yeah, Mammy Filipina. Where's this Minnie? Yeah, the toilet just flushed, so I would imagine she's still in the bathroom doing something. We got a little bit dizzy after breakfast, and I was telling her that I think that it might be because we had some incident on the airline when we were coming into Cebu, where we had a microburst and it dropped us a few hundred feet, probably in a millisecond. I'm not sure it was even a microburst. I'm not sure what it was, and I'm only estimating how many feet we dropped. But listen, if you know anything about how planes fly, you know we were never in any kind of danger, you know, because we were all seat belted in, and they were just going up and down the aisles and giving us water and peanuts or something. And so, you know, if you know how aviation works, once you're up at 10,000, 15,000 feet, no problem. You know, I don't know what the glide ratio is of a de Havilland, but I knew we weren't in any danger. It was just turbulence and boom, 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 you know. And next thing you know, people started saying a whole bunch of Hail Marys. Yeah, it was fun. I really enjoyed it, Tim, and we're going to do that again. Yeah, I'm just not going to be sitting around on my hands and bye bye City Late. We'll be moving around. today's adventure involves going to Ayala Mall, hanging around, um, and also seeing if we can book our trip over on the fast ferry over to the city of Ormoc, and we'll be making our way down to the house in Bye Bye City Leyte. And there's Mammy Filipino Raquel saying hello. Like I said, I really messed up. I'm telling you, uh, when you're visiting folks in the Philippines, you gotta plan things out a little bit because if you do it right, then you can just like make an easy sweep around, and you can visit everybody that you wanted to. But hey, Tim, I shouldn't. We ran into some YouTubers, didn't we? Well, they all were hanging out at Tequila Reef, and here's the whole thing. Here's the whole thing. We also saw some YouTuber, a couple of pretty moderately, I would say, successful YouTubers that were also on the street outside the restaurant that we were eating at, Tequila Reef, and I had to practically grab Minnie from jumping out of her chair. No, 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 hun, don't be starstruck. Don't go out there. You're gonna scare them. Oh, she kept saying, "Oh, look, Dad, look, there's Mercy. There's Mercy." I said, "I know, but don't go out there and try and latch on to her to say hello. You're probably gonna frighten her." They were only there for a second or two, hopping on a motor scooter, and then they were whisking away. But we pretty much knew that this is where some of the YouTubers hang out, and so Tequila Reef is where we were in Pampanga, Angela City, for the time that we were there. Hey, how's it going, Big Z Van Live? Thanks for coming to the live stream. I really enjoy having you here, and I enjoy going in and taking a peek at your channel now and again. Virtual hug from Pinky Gray. Okay, so what was I going to talk about? Oh, yeah. JL should be live right now, so I'm not going to tell you to go over there and visit right this second while you're in here, but it wouldn't hurt to go in and take a peek at what's going on in JL's channel. Nor Pinky Gray. I think Pinky Gray is going to be live again tonight after a week or so hiatus. Would you say? I'm missing her myself. Heck, I'm missing her from Manila, but I'm so used to seeing her live that I'm missing her live too, singing. Her program is very, very entertaining. So thank you, Big Z, for the thumbs up. And Jack's Vibes here. Love Jack's Vibes. If you haven't had a chance to get over there to Jack's Vibes, man, I'm telling you, I got to tell you, I think I have the best of the best subscribers and friends here visiting here this channel right here today. And where's Sammy, by the way? I'm missing Sammy and Robert. Oh, yeah, because I scheduled so late. Thank you for sharing, Jax. Okay, so let's talk about it. Is the Philippines God's waiting room for expats? And where's the number one place that expats go to and establish residency? And so I found out, I started thinking about this, right? Because I guess I started thinking about my own reasons for why we're moving here to the Philippines. And then do they match other people's reasons for moving to the Philippines? And some of them, they do have a common thread, but a lot of the stuff is totally different. I was kind of like shocked when I learned this. And I think you might be shocked too when you learn this. Jack's Vibes say, sis, Pinky. So the number one place that expats go, especially people that live in the United States, they go first to Mexico. There supposedly is something like 800,000 expats living in Mexico. And then number two is Canada. Canada, there's something 300,000 people that live there. And so that makes sense to me, because Mexico is close to the United States. If you're retired and you get sick and you're an expat in Mexico, oftentimes all you have to do is just jump on a puddle jumper plane like the one that we brought in from Clark to Cebu, and then boom, you're there. You're there in medical care if you have Medicare insurance and some other kind of insurance. You're covered there. If you have a major event, you're close by the United States. And so it seems to me that it makes sense that you would have Westerners that are moving from the United States to Mexico and Canada, expats, and they're also for Mexico, there are people from all over the world that are living there. But here's the thing, here's the thing. I don't know if you know this or not, but Mexico is no longer the bargain that most people thought where it used to be in the past. And so I kind of cringe when I hear people say on their YouTube channels that, oh, I'm done with the Philippines. I'm going to move to Mexico. Oh, really? Well, you obviously you haven't been there in a very long time because things are getting very, very expensive there. And so I don't know, how expensive they're getting, but I want to go over this real quick. I got Philippines. There's sort of disagreement over how many expats there are living in the Philippines. Anywhere, the numbers I found were anywhere from 38,000 to 220,000 expats that are living in the Philippines. And I tend to believe the larger number. It's only because one, that 38,000 comes from a source where they don't want you to leave the United States for greener pastures, because they want you to spend your money there. And so that's going to become an issue sometime in the future. So, but 220,000, which is a number that I got from a website called nomadicfire.com, sounds to me to be a little bit closer to the number. And these are based on surveys. So the Philippines, I think right now has about 116,000 population of people. And, the number 220,000, I mean, I'm walking down the street, even this hotel we're staying at. Of course, naturally you're gonna expect to see a lot of expats in the hotel. If you're in a at least a medium grade hotel in a city like the size of Cebu, you're going to run into a lot of foreigners, and so we are. But also walking down the street, we're running into a lot of foreigners, and where we're headed to the city of Baybay Leyte, we understand that there are a lot of foreigners. So basically, I'm believing the larger number. But so here's the thing. So when most people think about expats coming to the Philippines to live, they're mostly thinking about the first image you get in your head is some old guy like me and their young Filipina bride is coming to the Philippines to live out their senior years, if you will, right? And that may perhaps be true, but the statistics that I saw don't really prove that out as much as I wanted it to. That's a reason because I'm here, because the United States monetizes everything. And as much as I love the United States and would love to live there the rest of my life, the problem with the United States is becoming very, very expensive to live. It has insane taxes. The cost of food and housing is going crazy. And when you reach a certain point in life, you want to get away from that and you want to have a smooth landing, if you will. You want to have a nice, smooth sailing in the retirement side of it, and by the way, it seems as though Tim, when I met with Tim is a very calm, mellow, very, very, very easygoing personality. And so if I were to guess, Tim is probably enjoying living in the Philippines and takes life one day at a time. And I think that's kind of how you have to live life, What the heck happened? It is all good, sir. I had a heart attack yesterday, but I'm fine now. You mean literally you had a heart attack? Because I remember you saying that you were suffering from stress. But I hope, yes, I hope you're fine. Man, that's a scary thing. I'm very, very fearful of having any kind of cardiac event. I'm very terrified of it. But anyway, here's what I found out. Right, turns out that when I started looking at the numbers, it didn't exactly pan out. That on average, 47.8% expats, whether they're living in the Philippines or anywhere around the world, are actually 71% are actually working. And they're 47.8%. I'm sorry, 47.8 is the average age. So that means they're not old guys, and the majority are men. Something like 53% are men. And so that means that people are coming, they're moving overseas to work. Now, I got to say right here, it was very, very difficult to look for actual numbers, of expats living in the Philippines and what their ages are. You have to dig deep in order to find those numbers. But like I said, for expats in general, no matter where they live around the world, they're an average of 47.8 years old, or almost 48, and 71% are working. They're different. They're a different breed of people than the people that work a 9 to 5 job, because a lot of these people, they're self-employed, they're digital nomads. But the most important thing is they cherish quality of life over dollars, if you will. Quality of life is important, more important than it is than having money. So I found that to be surprising. So that would mean that people that are actually moving over to the Philippines, you know, are would be younger even if they're retirement age, right? So did that prove that out? Was I able to prove that out? Let's see what Pinky says. Oh, my pleasure, Danza. You give me a chance to also think about myself too. Take a break sometimes. I enjoy your coming together with Sis Minnie. Yeah, we had a good time. We had a really, really good time. Yeah. So let's talk about it in terms of cost, because I did say that my reason for moving to the Philippines is, important part is the cost factor. You don't want to be worried about not having enough money in retirement. And so a lot of people end up moving over here because of that reason, and it turns out that in the Philippines, it's 43% of the cost of living in the United States. So based on numbers that I found on, I believe it was Statista.com. I'm trying to cite, I could be wrong, but it turns out that it costs only 43% of what it costs to live in the United States, to live and call the Philippines home. So I know that might be surprising to a lot of expats when I throw that number out there. It's probably an average, but I know that a lot of American expats live for a lot less than that. So that means that if it costs you, $2,000 a month to live in the United States, you're probably paying less than half of that to live in the Philippines. And so that kind of gives you a good measure, something to measure as to the reason why people move to the Philippines, especially from the United States, in order to live. Yeah. Oh, there's Larice. Hi, Larice. I was going to send you a special invitation, but I lost track of time, and then I had to set my live. But I see you. I'm always watching, Larice. I'm always watching how you are so motivated and sharing. You get on Facebook and you share the links and everything, and we truly appreciate that. I know I've said I appreciate it so many times, but I don't think that I could say it enough. You and Filipino Raquel, you do a fantastic job on sharing the links and letting people know what's going on and promoting their channels and promoting, your friends' channels. I mean, I just think that you guys are like the bomb. Sissy Labs and Raquel Meow. Hey, do you guys know each other, by the way? Do you know each other real well? Oh, thank you, Tim. Thank you. Well, it boosted me a little bit. It boosted my watch hours. But as every day goes by, it's a new 365-day clock, and that's why it's important to keep those videos running. I know that Pinky Gray showed me that she was running my channel. on the fly, just 24/7, you know. So I really appreciate it. Keep going, keep going, keep going. I really, really, really appreciate it. Okay, Sammy. Oh, how's live now? I'm here, and Sammy says hi to you all. Thank you, Sammy. When are you live now? Because I kept looking around, going, "When's Sammy going to do a live?" I know I've missed a couple of. I missed maybe one or two lives, but I'm looking. I'm looking now that things are starting to settle down a little bit. Love from Larice to Sammy. So let's see. What was I going to talk about? So um, it's surprising then to know, the question is the Philippines becoming God's waiting room for expats? And I'd have to say that the answer is probably not necessarily. But again, my reason for being here is, for example, I know you guys are going to be shocked when I say this. We have a lot of Filipinos that are here, but in the United States, it would cost somewhere between $7,000 and $10,000 per month. I mean, $7,000 to $10,000 total to bury you in a traditional Catholic funeral. Can you believe that? That's $7,000 to $10,000 for them to put you in the ground. Who wants to burden their relatives with a scheme like that? They monetize everything in the United States, everything, including the cost of death. And then they make you feel guilty when you don't spend the money on the funeral, Me, put me in a pine box, wrap me in a cloth, and dig a deep enough hole for me that the dog won't dig me up. That's all I ask. How much does that cost in the Philippines to do that? Oh, because you're editing your second channel for all my TikTok videos. Oh, good. How's the TikToks doing, Sammy? How's the TikToks doing? So yes, I'm admitting to you that that's one of the reasons for being here. I just can't see spending $7,000 to $10,000 for somebody that you have to burden with to put you in the ground. Now, this isn't happening to my family, my wife. I'm not going to allow it to happen. It's not right that it happens that way. So, but in the event that I do pass away in the United States, there's enough money hanging around that people wouldn't have to be burdened with having to bury me. But I beg you, expats that are in the Philippines right now, don't burden your partners by having them to figure out how they're going to bury you on the day that you pass away. That should be the responsibility of you, the expat. That shouldn't be the responsibility of your partner. That should be your responsibility, my responsibility, to make sure that all those things are taken care of. And so is it true that getting back to the subject at hand, is it true that that the Philippines is becoming God's waiting room for expats? And the answer probably is no. That's because if you go into Statista.com, the 2022 surveys, they're saying that only 18% of expats living abroad in 2022 are age 61 or older. What that means is that the majority are younger, quite frankly. And if you're younger, you most likely have to work, So Tim says he doesn't hang out with expats, which is probably a good thing. Because if you did, you probably would be drinking every day. No. I'm sure that the majority of expats are working. They're not spending their time in the bar. You get a skewed sense of reality in places like Angeles City, though. If you're going into the tourist areas, the majority of the expats that you're going to run into, well, they're enjoying themselves, whether they live there or not. A lot of them are doing the two-week millionaire thing. They're just there to have a good time, to drink a few beers and meet women, I guess. You know, I mean, I'm just being honest with you. Sammy says hello, Larice. You probably already saw his comments. So check this out. 15% are age 31 to 35, and 46% are above the age of 50. But I actually saw a number which I can't give you any kind of stats for or any kind of citation for, which is a bad thing. So I'm just going to throw it out there as being as saying that I remember running into a figure that showed the average age of an expat in the Philippines, living in the Philippines, is somewhere around 51 or 52 years of age. So that means that only the old guys have YouTube channels. No, there are plenty of young people that have YouTube channels, I think, right? And so not just the older folks. So anyway, no. So apparently we're not going there just to die. So the Philippines is not becoming God's waiting room. I don't know if you guys have ever heard that term before, but anywho, all right. So now, what should you be doing? You know, when you decide that you're going to be moving there, you know, what should you guys be doing? You expats out there, you should be researching where you're going and know it well, like the back of your hand. You know, 2 trips over to the Philippines, I'm afraid, does not make you an expert on the Philippines. 15 trips over to the Philippines does not make you an expert on the Philippines. I think that the only way that you can get to really know the Philippines, its culture, and its people, is you have to decide to live there for a period of time. So far so good on my end. Of course, I have been here a greater number of times than 15. You know, I started coming here when I was, you know, in the early 2000s, I would say. And so I have learned to know the culture and the country very, very well. But I don't consider myself an expert. An expert. I wouldn't. I wouldn't portray myself as one, even though I probably have in the past once or twice. From now on, from this day forward, I won't portray myself as an expert. And you should always check the entry requirements. Okay, so the entry requirements. Oh, by the way, you should know I'm taking these points, these talking points, off of the website. It's HSBC Expat. So yes, the banking HSBC. I really love this website. So if you want to go in there and you want to get some information, you need to go into HSBC Expat and look at this top 10 list of things that you should be thinking about. Of course, they got game at HSBC. They're the bank. And so of course they're going to want you to open up a bank account with them. So that's their main objective. But it's not lost on them that a whole bunch of people keep moving to different countries. People becoming more mobile because of the remote work thing, you know, the digital nomad thing. They're able to move around. They have more freedom and flexibility, but it's still a rarity. See, the numbers may be increasing every year, but it's still just a little teeny tiny number of people compared to their populations of people that are moving around the world. I mean, for every one expat from the United States that you'll find who gives you reasons for why you should move to the Philippines, there's going to be a million Americans that are going to tell you why you shouldn't move there. Of course, there are going to be people that have never come here or traveled much around the world, but they'll still tell you why they loved living in the United States and their country. And so, you know, hey, I have to admit, you know, the United States, you have all these wonderful things. They don't want for food. They don't want for anything. There's right now, especially there's the availability of jobs everywhere. Even if I wanted to go back to the United States and I wanted to go to work, right? Again, it would be no problem getting a job. And so even at my age. And so they don't have age restrictions on employment. There are a tremendous number of reasons why you'd want to go to the United States. But if you're Filipina or Filipino and you're going to the United States, all I could say to you is live as frugally as possible, save as much money as possible, and plan for your return back to the Philippines. Yes, as Adonia. Yes. Oh, here's Sammy. This must be Sammy's new channel, Province LGBT. I'm here now, Kuya. Haha. Yeah, I love that. I love the name of this YouTube channel better than I do others, let's say. Let's see. Oh, yeah, please connect to Des. Des is living in Bye Bye City. I hope to meet Des soon before she goes into labor. All right, let's see. Where are we now? About the title, Philippines is always welcome for whom like to come here. Yeah. Yes, that's right. I think that the Philippines love the United people that come in there from America too, and the reason is because of its history. One of the reasons would be. Larice says hello, and Robert, hey, how's it going, Robert? Let's see. Yeah, Tim says 225 total tourist visa and extensions per year in the Philippines, according to immigration. Yeah, total. That's the total number. Yeah, and I think that's where that site, Nomadic Fire, gets that number from. Is from the visa people. And so that's not saying there are 225,000 American expats in the Philippines. There's 225,000 total tourist visas, as you point out, Tim. Thanks for providing that number. So, number 2 was check the country or region's entry requirements, and we did that. And so here's what happens. Minnie and I, we come in through immigration, and I just tell Minnie I ask her to do this for me. I said, when you go up there, we're going up there as a couple, but I tell her to say Balikbayan. The first thing out of your mouth is Balikbayan. You need that stamp in your passport. That is the privilege of former Filipinos. And so no problem. Boom, Minnie stamp, and she goes through. She didn't have to provide any documentation, right? Then I'm with her, and it's my turn. I hand her my passport. Minnie was a few steps ahead, but I'm signaling to her, don't go anywhere, don't pass through yet. And because Minnie's holding the documentation like marriage license, certified copy. So she starts looking at my passport, and she says, well, hold the phone, and then she calls my wife back, and Minnie comes back. But Minnie had already pulled out the certified copy of the birth record to show the immigration officer. So she showed that to her, and then she stamped my passport with the Balikbayan visa. So that, if you don't know what that is, that's the privilege that gives you 1 year. It's not really a visa; it's a privilege, and it gives you 1 year fee-free. It's not a visa; it's the privilege for being married, for having a Filipino spouse. The spouse also gets the same privilege. And so once I have that stamp on there, I'm good to go. It has the date 1 year into the future. And that means that we have time to work on our whatever visas we decide to pursue. Minnie wants to pursue dual citizenship. We can do that probably by applying here in Cebu. And I want to do the permanent residency one. No, not the retirement one, not the SSRB. Is that what they call it? I think I'm going to go for the other one, permanent resident status. That's because I want to, I don't want to have to tie up any money in the bank and stuff like that. Thank you. Sammy, this is my second channel. Let's see, positivity and love to all today. Absolutely, that should be all day, every day, Mr. Robert. And I hear you're feeling better. And so I'm really happy to hear that. Lori saying hello, hello to everybody in the chat. Pinky with the virtual hugs. I love your hugs. They're delicious, Pinky. Many reasons how I get lots of people tell me all their problems. I got overjoyed with the other day during my life. It's not good or someone who have heart problems to overjoy. No, something you have to take measured responses to everything, Filipina, and that's why you need to take it easy. And no, don't overwhelm yourself. You I know that you love helping people, but it can be burdensome at times. When you take on too much responsibility. All right, I don't know if we're back or not. It looks like StreamYard uh, pooped out on us there for a second. They sent me a message, StreamYard, saying, "Uh-oh, sorry." Yeah, we were buffering badly there for a moment. I didn't know if I was going to be coming back until I saw that message from StreamYard. I thought we were pretty much done for the day. All right, where was it? Where was I? Thank you for sharing, you guys. Oh, number 3, you got to work out your moving costs. Thank you, you guys, for hanging with me. You got it, Larice. Appreciate you. You know that. You got to work out your moving costs. Okay, so I learned a lesson on this one. Even though you have the best plan, the best laid plan, as they say, of mice and men, right? Things go wrong, And so I had planned on being able, it wasn't realistic, right? So I had planned on doing this whole adventure, this whole trip. I had a hospitality budget of about $600 for the entire shebang, and I probably am at somewhere around 1,000 right now. So that's still underneath what I was paying for rent in the United States. Yeah, but it's way more than the 600 I had intended on spending. Minnie is going out and she's enjoying buying different clothing and things like that. Let's see, permanent resident status is extremely difficult to get. Less than 50 Americans get it per year. Well, I'm getting a spousal visa. Is that what they call it? Spousal visa. Yeah, I'm married to a Filipina. So I think that's part of the thing is you have to be married. It's easier to get. I think you can get permanent residency status as probably a single American, and then when you're married to a Filipina, then you can get a spousal visa. So that's probably what we're going to be going for. Anyway, tell you what, JR just posted a video about SRV, or the retirement visa. What do they call it? SRV. And we're gonna be taking a look at his video that he posted on YouTube. Just posted it a few days ago. All right, thanks, Sammy. Thanks all 6 of you that are hanging in there with me. What was next? Oh yeah, I'm referring to the thing. So work out moving costs. So we were talking to one of Minnie's relatives, her uncle, her Tito Albert, day or two ago, and his brother just moved from New Jersey back to the Philippines to live there in San Fernando, Pampanga, and he did the same thing that we did. We liquidated everything, and he sent most of the personal items in balikbayan boxes back to the Philippines. No renting a container, not doing anything like that because it's very, very expensive, very cost prohibitive. And so it makes more sense to move your things, your small personal belongings that you need to the Philippines in balikbayan boxes. But still, all in all, we spent a lot of money doing that. You know, we spent it was over $2,000 in balikbayan boxes. 5 boxes are still missing in action, but you have to get a handle on that moving cost. And then also, you'll get that first initial bump, you know, when you first move to the Philippines, things that need to be done or taken care of that you didn't think about. That will probably happen in the first month or so that you're here in the Philippines. And I recommend that you go watch Tim K. His latest video talks about the initial expenses, and he does a really good video by illustrating that you think that Filipinas or your wives will spend a bunch of money when you come here, but that isn't necessarily the truth, and he explains it in his video. I don't want to give it away. I think you go to Tim K's video. Tim K lives in southern Leyte, not too far from Bye Bye City, and he'll give you some good information about what it's really like. That the real problem isn't on the side where exorbitant money is being spent on things like clothing and things like that, but it's more on building your income stream. It's more on that side of the house. And so I really appreciated Tim K's video, and so I think that if you want to, you can go in there and take a look at Tim K, and he's going to have some interesting information for you. Number 4 on this HSBC list is build up your savings. Absolutely, you got to build up your savings, even though, we're still buffering. Are we still buffering? I apologize for that. But even though you still have money saved from things like retirement, and let's say you even have a steady stream of income from Social Security or disability or VA money, it's still a great idea to save as much money as you can when you come here. You need as much money as you possibly can save prior to making the move to the Philippines. And so I'll bet you that HSBC can help you out with that. Yeah, the spousal visa is totally different. And so, you know, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'll be going in and I'll be watching JR's videos, and I'll be getting a handle. I may even visit JR. That would give us a good reason to go visit Sammy, and JR, as you know, has an office in Dumaguete. I'm sure JR has an office here in Cebu too, but it's more fun to travel down to Dumaguete to visit JR's office there, and we'll figure all this stuff out. You also have to figure out how you're going to manage your money, and I think Minnie and I have done that already. You know, we have already figured out how we're going to handle expenses in the Philippines from the time we arrive at the home, you know, and how we're going to handle monthly expenditures. And so all that is not going to be a big deal for us, I don't think. So you have to figure out how you're going to spend your money. That would be suggestion number 5. Suggestion number 6 is going to be thinking about where you're going to live. And again, the medical thing comes into play. Now, okay, hey, Tim is saying he has a video about SRRV visa on his channel. And so you can hop over to Tim's channel and check that out. And so now you have to think about where you're going to live. And usually that's related to your medical requirements. And so I have a thing called glaucoma. You know, it affects my sights. But glaucoma is a little bit more serious than most people think. You know, they think you get squirt a few eye drops in there, get the eye pressure down, and everything is okay. But it really, really doesn't work that way. Basically, This is about this is about neurological disorders. It's about the possibility that you have an increased risk of stroke or heart disease and other neurological disorders like dementia, Alzheimer's, and things like that. If you have glaucoma, if you want, go do your research online. You'll discover that what I'm saying has some validity to it. I don't know how much validity, but it's not something that you take for granted. You have to have frequent tests, eye pressure tests. And so figuring out where you're going to live would be directly related to what type of health care you need to access. So now, here's the latest development. Bye Bye City, where we're going, they just opened up a private hospital, doctor's hospital. Now, if it's related to doctor's hospital in Cebu, then we're good to go. I know that I could trust that private hospital in Cebu. And so we're going to be checking that out, or in Bye Bye. So we're going to be checking that out when we're there. Now, I was going to go to Changhua Hospital here in Cebu and get the, what's it called, the executive checkup, have the blood panel and all that stuff done. But I think I'm going to wait now. Once I discovered that Doctor's Hospital is in Bye Bye City Leyte, brand new, I understand. Then I decided to wait, and then we're going to go there and we're going to get evaluated there. And so that'll be great that if that private hospital in Bye Bye City is every bit as good as the one in Cebu. Sir Dan, PM me on screenshot for your monetization on YouTube Studio. Your watch hour time, sure, we'll work it out with friends. Thanks so much, Filipina. But again, you need to take it easy. You know, I know you want to help. I know you want to help big time. You're so giving and caring and loving. But you know, the thing is, you got to take it easy, you know, stress free. But I will send you that screenshot that from today. Once I'm off the live here, I'll send it to you. Daisy Lynn Castro, I was in your live for a little bit. Man, I'm telling you, I love your live streams, Daisy Lynn. You are absolutely fantastic. And virtual hugs from Larice. You guys have to check in on Larice. Yeah, Larice is kind of fun, but she makes me nervous sometimes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm going to buy Larice a new bra. Wait, my wife might have some objections to that. I'm sorry, Larice, that just sort of slipped out. Yeah, I sent Larice a private message saying, I'm gonna buy you a new bra. Yeah. Okay, willing to wait here, Poe. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. Oops. I think Filipina Raquel knows. She knows what I'm talking about. Oh, that's so funny. We'll have a giveaway bra, sir, sponsored by Sir Nomadic, Sir Nomadic Hippie. Oh, is that what that's all about? See, something got lost in the translation. All right, number 7 on HSBC. Get ready for work, or not necessarily get ready for work, but transition into something that you've been wanting to do that you weren't able to do during your working life. And that could be all kinds of things. You know, that could be starting a feeding program, or working with a feeding program that already exists in the Philippines through your local church or your local barangay captain. You always involve the people that have the connections in the community that you're going to be calling home. And that way you work together and you get more bang for your buck. And so that's what you do. So that's what we're going to be doing, and then we're probably going to be doing YouTube videos, but not about necessarily the feeding programs and things like that. I don't want to directly um, put all that stuff on YouTube, but I'm Oh, there I am. All right, you guys. Sorry about the internet. Um, guess we'll end up closing out right now for who's ever still watching. Looks like two of you are still hanging around. There you are. Yeah, it's okay. We're gonna sign off right now. Sorry about that internet connection. I don't know what happened. I actually had to um, fire up my computer again, Larry. So thanks for letting everybody know that we were done. Yep. All right. It's a shame. But anyway, we'll try it again another day. Larice, thanks for letting everybody know. I appreciate it. Take care of yourself. Bye, everybody. We're going to sign off. Oh, hey, how's it going? How's it going, Cali King 916? Hey, we just had buffering internet problems, So, but everybody's coming back. Wait a minute. Seems like four of you are coming back. Oh, you're still there. Okay. Thanks. I can't remember where I was, in this topic now. Let me see if I could figure out where I was. Take care, Larice. Thanks for reaching out. Let me wrap it up real quick, you guys. Let me wrap this topic up real quick, and then we'll get out of here before the next event occurs. Yeah, just for a moment. Just for a moment. I'll wrap this up. I'll wrap this topic up since I was able to come back. I had to reboot the computer, Tim, if you're still around. Let's see. I was talking about the top 10 things on your list to do before moving here. And so I think I am at number 7. I was talking about get ready to do something, Get ready to figure out what you're going to do that's going to occupy your time. And then involve people that can assist you with those tasks, especially if it involves things like feeding programs. You want to get the locals involved because they know everybody. You don't want to seem like you're above everyone else. That's the other reason. Number 8, if you have kids, you got to research schools. What the good schools are will have an effect on where you relocate to. Number 9 is something Minnie and I spent hours and hours with doing, is gathering your essential documents to make sure that you have everything with you that you're going to need, especially when you're applying for visas and things like that. Things like marriage certificates, birth certificates, divorce paperwork, and all these other things. And then the obvious thing is make sure you're doing all this in a timely manner. So basically that covers all 10 things. So beginning, I said, is the Philippines becoming God's waiting room for expats? And my conclusion is, even though it may be for me, it's not for everybody. It's not everybody's waiting room. In other words, people are actually coming over here and they're doing remote work and they're making a living and they're supporting families and they're becoming Filipino, if you will. And so I appreciate you guys sticking around through all the buffering that happened. I had quite a few buffering incidents. I hope it doesn't drive people crazy when they see the live stream on video replay. But I want to thank everybody for being here today, and we will see you on the next live. The next video that's coming is going to be on Chiang Mai. Oh, there's Missy. Where are you? I can't get out of my own shadow. So there's Ma'am Minnie.
Hi, ladies.
All right. Everybody, you take care. We'll see you on the next live. Thanks for hanging there, hanging in with me. Thanks for your help, Larice. See everybody soon. Bye.